Hey guys, welcome back to the Love Well Project. We have 2 more weeks left, this week and next, and I hope that this has been a good experience for you. It's really made me stop and think about loving well and the importance of loving God above all else, but then loving our neighbor as ourselves. And it's really made me passionate about those verses in Matthew that tell us that because it really is that simple. It really does come down to that. We can get caught up in a lot of rules and a lot of other things, but it really does come down to that. I've got lots of kids playing in my backyard. That's what you're hearing. Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about loving our friends well, loving our girlfriends. And if you've been reading my blog for a while, you know that this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. I am passionate about women coming alongside each other and supporting each other and creating a climate and culture with one another that is uplifting rather than backbiting and one of comparison or gossip. We are called to be in a higher place in this, guys. And I know that you probably know this. And if you're watching this, I guarantee at some point in your life you have been the victim of some kind of female drama, or maybe you've been the one stirring the pot. I know I've done both. I've stirred the pot and I've been the victim. So anyway, all that to say, I was having a conversation with a woman the other day, and she said, "Oh, I've been hurt too many times by other women, and I just stick with my husband." And it made me sad for her because the thing is our husbands, I love my husband, but he cannot fulfill all the emotional needs I have. Number one, God needs to be fulfilling or God needs to be number one. But then number two, I can't put that much pressure on my husband either. Yes, emotionally, I benefit a lot from what he gives me as well. But there are times that I just need to talk to a girlfriend about that. And we'll be talking about things sometimes, Jason and I, and he'll say, "You know what? I think you need to talk to a girlfriend about this." And he's right so many times. I love my heart sisters. I have been blessed to have a group in the town where I live that ministers to me so beautifully. But it's been a rough road. I haven't always had that. I don't want that to be a moment where you think, "Well, good for you," because let me share with you, it's been quite a journey. And what happened was, how Heart Sisters came about was that I was the MOPS coordinator a couple years ago at our former church and MOPS is Mothers of Preschoolers. It's a group of about 60 to 70 women at the time. And I was noticing just some conflicts between women, some things that were coming up that just were not handled in a way that was A, healthy, or B, even biblical. And sadly enough, I started to notice that some of this drama and this conflict, this backbiting, was happening more among my Christian friends than my non-Christian friends. And I didn't become a believer until I was 27 years old, so I have feet in both worlds, which I like it that way. But it made me sad that as believers, we're called to a higher standing than that. Maybe that's not the right word. We're called to a higher code of conduct, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because we don't really have an excuse. We know what the Bible tells us about stirring up conflict and those who stir dissension. And anyway, and coming alongside each other and loving each other. So I was looking for this book to study with my leadership team so that we could all be on the same page and be speaking the same language. And I thought for sure something like this existed. Well, I started looking and there wasn't anything. And it was really funny because I was talking about how I couldn't find a book that I wanted to study with my leadership team about this exact thing, about different issues that women face while they're in relationship with each other. And I'll never forget this person who I was talking to said, "Well, aren't you a writer?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I write on my blog." And they're like, No. Why don't you write the book?" And so that planted the seed in my mind to write a book about female friendships. And I spent the next 6 months praying about this because with writing and blogging and all of that, it's so easy to get messed up on what is your desire and what is God's desire for you. And it continues all the time. It never stops. But I wanted to really discern what it was that God wanted me to do. And so within that 6 month time period, I experienced some different things that made me see that there really was a need for this. And he was taking me through some really tough stuff with other women to prepare me for writing Heart Sisters. And anyway, all that to say, I'm super passionate about women just supporting and loving each other and celebrating one another's uniqueness, the gifts that we all bring to the table, and looking at it like that rather than in a jealousy type of way. Um, and also within the church, modeling healthy female relationships, because there's a Galatians verse, and I can't remember where it is. I'll post it on the text part of my blog, but there's a Galatians verse, and it talks about how, I won't remember it word for word, but if you don't stop devouring one another, you're going to take everyone down. And this is so true, because if we do not stop hurting each other as women, then we're going to take each other down. And I know that's not the heart of anyone who's watching that. I know that we don't intentionally want to take someone down, but sin enters the world, and sin entered the world, past tense on that. And that's just part of sometimes some of the stuff that we fight against. So this week we're just going to talk about the importance of our female friends. We're going to celebrate our female friends, and I hope that you will join me in the Heart Sisters journey. It will be released October 7th, is the tentative date right now. I'm also hoping that I'll have groups studying this book in churches around the country, and I'll be available for speaking engagements and that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, if you contact me now, I am booking into the fall and the spring of next year. So I'd love to come and talk to your group. If you look under the speaking tab, on my blog, you'll find some information about that too. So thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to talking with you this week about female friendships. Bye-bye.